In this video, you will learn 5 different approaches to frothing milk at home without an espresso machine. When you finish watching, you should be able to pick a milk frother that fits your needs and budget. Hey guys, it's Alex from European Coffee Trip, and in this video we want to show you 5 different approaches to milk frothing at home. Our goal is to get as close as possible to the coffee shop level of cappuccino or latte. We picked milk frothers that are both cheap and expensive, manual and electric, all that you get a good idea of what options are on the market and what is best for you. You can expect our summary and suggestions at the end of this video, also links to all products we mention in the description. Today we have a special guest. I asked my sister Clara, who is a professional barista at Coffee Fusion in Brno, to join me and share her thoughts and opinions. Alright, let's get into it. Here are the tools we will use and test, sorted by the price, from the cheapest to the most expensive. Number 1. Insulated flask or jar with a lid that is used as a shaker. I believe everybody has something like that at home, so that's the most economical option from all. Number 2. Handheld electric milk frother or frothing wand. We got ours locally for about €8. It's from Xaxas company, but there shouldn't be a huge difference between brands. Number 3. French press style milk frother. We have a small milk frother from Bodum. It's quite pricey, you get it for about €30, but you can find cheaper alternatives from Bodum or other brands. Number 4. Cheap electric milk frother. In this category, we pick Sencor milk frother that we bought for about €45. Number 5. Expensive electric milk frother. We pick Sage or Breville Milk Cafe. It's perhaps the most advanced and also the most expensive milk frother for home baristas on the market. We got it for about €150. Okay, let's go through all 5 options one by one so you can watch how easy or difficult is it to make a cappuccino, how much time it takes, and what's the quality of the foam. Before we get started, there are 3 important things to mention. Number 1. Coffee. We will not talk about coffee preparation in this video. We will use our AirPress with Prismo attachment, this time to brew around 30 ml of strong coffee. Go for your preferred option. Number 2. Milk. Milk is important. Actually, there will be mostly milk in your drink, so better choose the tasty one. You should pick full-fat milk, and our choice was a fresh milk from a local farmer. We use about 150 to 200 ml for each method that we heated up to our desired temperature of 60 to 65 degrees Celsius. Number 3. Milk pitcher. If you want to learn any latte art pattern or simply control how you mix milk with coffee in the cup, you need to get the milk pitcher. It doesn't need to be too fancy or expensive, but you will see Clara using it throughout this video. Let's start with the low-cost option, and that's using a flask or jar that you can cover and use as a shaker. I like to use the insulated flask that prevent me from burning my fingers. I will start by heating about 150 ml of milk in the microwave to about 65 degrees Celsius. Usually it takes about 45 to 60 seconds. This flask volume is about 330 ml, so by pouring 150 ml of milk, we won't reach even 50% and leave enough room for shaking and the pressure that builds up inside of the flask. Then I will shake it for 30 to 45 seconds, swirl, and pour it into a milk pitcher. Foam is quite thin with many bubbles. It wasn't very stable neither. I could perhaps shake much more to generate more foam, but it wouldn't change the overall characteristics. Okay, so pros of this method is that there is no extra cost. Usually you already have the flask at home, and it's a really easy technique. You just shake. And what about the cons? Well, you need to heat the milk first. And also it's the most physically demanding method that we tried. It produces thin and less stable foam, and eventually you can burn yourself. Next is handheld milk frother that is powered by 2 AA batteries. You can basically just turn it on and off, and the motor is of 14,000 RPM. We're quite skeptical, but the results surprised us. We heated the milk in the microwave and then pour it into the milk pitcher. This milk frother, I tried to first stretch the milk and create the foam by keeping the frothing spiral close to the surface of the milk. Then I submerged the spiral at an angle to create a whirlpool that mixed foam and milk. It took me a little over a minute to reach my goal. The foam looked good and was quite stable. Its amount depends on the technique, but it wasn't as creamy and velvety as we would wish. It looked better than it tasted. There was more air in the foam, so it reminded us more of a beer foam in our mouth. So, pros of this method. It's really small and cheap. It's really easy to clean and you have a good control over the frothing process. And cons? It takes time to master the technique. You really need to heat up the milk separately, and it produces too airy foam texture. Frothing milk in a French press style milk frother is simple, but takes some time to figure out the right technique. We found a good starting point was about 10 to 20 aggressive presses from the top to bottom, and then you continue with another 10 to 20 presses, having a plunger submerged in the milk. It's quite a fast method. It took us about a minute to heat the milk to 60 degrees Celsius in a microwave and then about 20 seconds to froth the milk. The downside is that it's quite a messy technique and you will spend more time cleaning. The foam was great. It was rich, thick and really creamy. It was very similar to what we like to drink at the coffee shop. So, what are the pros of this method? It produces rich, creamy and stable foam. It's a relatively cheap option and you have also the pouring spout. And the cons? Well, it's quite messy and more difficult to clean. It takes time to master the right technique and you need to heat up the milk first. Now, we move to the category of electric milk frothers that both heat and froth the milk. You just press the button. The cheaper option is Sencor milk frother that comes with 4 modes: cool, baby, foam and hot, but only 2 modes are suitable for frothing. We tested the foam mode. The volume of milk is quite limited. Minimum is 100 ml and maximum is 150 ml, so it's basically just 1 cup of cappuccino or latte. The hot mode is set to reach about 65 degrees Celsius, and for 100 ml of cold milk it took us a little over 3 minutes. It produced a lot of foam that was smooth and rich, but it was quite unstable and started to break and bubble quite fast. Also, there was too much foam for latte art drawing, but that could be eventually adjusted. What are the pros of this method? It produces nice texture of the foam. It heats and froths at the same time, and you can get it for a good price. And some cons? It produces perhaps too much foam and too thick for latte art. There is a small volume, so perhaps you can get only 1 cup, and the machine is quite slow. The most advanced and expensive milk frother in this review is Sage Milk Cafe. It allows you to heat and froth 180 to 500 ml of milk. That is really up to 3 cups of cappuccino. You can fully control the temperature, starting at the cold stir and then from about 40 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius. Still, optimal is 60. It comes with 2 frothing discs that influence the thickness of the foam. One is for latte and one for cappuccino. For some reason, the latte disc didn't produce almost any foam for us, so we went for the cappuccino one. We poured 100 ml of milk and it took a little over 2 minutes to bring it to 60 degrees Celsius. It produces solid, smooth foam with a good stability. We felt the texture can be even more thick for a proper cappuccino. So, what are some pros of this method? You can heat and froth a big volume of milk. It's made out of quality and durable material. There are 2 frothing options and you have an adjustable temperature. And what are some cons? Well, it's quite expensive, so the high price, and also its big size. It doesn't need to fit your kitchen or shelf. Okay, let's sum it up. What does the professional barista think is the best method to reach the coffee shop level of cappuccino at home?
When you master the technique, I think this bottom one or this like milk frother, it would be the best option for me. Even like time pass. Only downside of this, it's quite messy. So, but if you like clean afterwards, then you have perfect cappuccino. And you impress, I think, a lot of guests.
If you prefer more easy and automatic options at home, both electric milk frothers are good choices. Pick the Sage or Breville Milk Cafe if you like more control and you need to make milk coffee for more than one person on a regular basis. If you are okay with limited options and only 1 cup at a time, Sencor is an okay budget option for you. If you don't plan on frothing milk on a regular basis, want to save money and don't mind learning a new technique, then handhold milk frother, especially the more powerful one, can be a surprisingly good alternative for making cappuccino at home. We wouldn't really recommend the flask or jar method as a permanent solution, but it's a good backup solution for special situations. Now, we would love to know your experience and thoughts. What's your favorite way to froth milk at home? Is there any trick we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments. We also created 2 separate videos about making cappuccino or flat white at home. So watch it now if you want to keep learning. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. Bye bye.